I think we are live, or at least we should be live. Let me know if you can see the stream right now. That would be very much appreciated, because today marks a very interesting day for Bitcoin, for our cryptos, and, well, we're going to definitely have to talk about what we think is going to happen next, because we are at $91,000 of BTC. Things are changing, all right? For altcoins, maybe nothing too crazy is happening just quite yet, you may say. Well, we'll talk about all that in just a few minutes. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to hop on in and say hi, as obviously the first minute of streaming, nobody's here, right? So we got to give it a little second. Got to give it a little second. And then we'll start talking about the story of today. Because like I told y'all, it's been a very eventful day. A lot of beautiful things are happening in the crypto market right now as it stands. Let me quickly turn the chat on. There we go. Right now as it stands, things are looking good. Majority of the crypto market in the green. And, like always, happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm not sure if you celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't, but still happy to wish you a happy one, all right? Still happy to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Because why not? What have I got to lose there, huh? But yeah, regardless, if you're watching this right now, make sure you go ahead and quickly press that like button. We've got about 45 people hopping on in the first minute, which is pretty good. But I wonder, did all of y'all get a notification just now? Or did you just find it by sheer luck, I guess? Because we're doing good, but these are not the numbers we normally do. So sometimes I wonder, maybe no notification today. But regardless, we'll still make it work. We'll still get a beautiful stream going here. All right, doesn't matter that much. Jerix says notification. All right. Maybe it takes a few minutes for some other people to hop on, and it's okay. Oh, good. All right, so all of y'all. See, Wolverine says noticed. That is crazy to me how some of y'all notice, huh? Regardless, appreciate y'all stopping by and saying hi. Let's dive a little bit in. Today, we're also going to grab our analyst back on in a few minutes to give a scenario about the crypto market, and of course, because it's more fun to talk the two of us than just solo, right? But talking about the crypto market of today, most of the coins are back in the green. The best performers of today, 𝗕𝗓𝘃, Virtuals, Flare, Sky being the only one I don't really know too much about, but these are all the double-digit gainers for today, together with EtherFi. Over the past hour, EtherFi is the best performer, up 2.5%. Flare, up 1.7%. World Liberty Finance, Mr. Trump's coin, up 1% or so. And Pump Fund, also up more than 1% over the past hour. Over the day, who are down? Well, we got 𝗵𝗲 being down 31%. Damn. And that's actually the only coin that's taking a big freaking dump right here. Down 30% in a day. Not 100% sure why. And over the hour, we've got SPX down 3%-ish. The rest of the coins not really down anything, because if it's less than 1% down, I just consider it to be a little bit of a nothing burger, especially here if it's, for example, up 3% over the day or 30% over the day. Going down 0.5% over the hour is just, like I said, kind of nothing, especially on a $1 type of coin. It's not even 1% that's moving. It doesn't mean much. All right. So on the top, we got Bitcoin up 5% throughout the day, as we said just now, at roughly $91,000. We got Ethereum at 3,011, so still holding above 3K, but not actually as high as it was a little bit earlier. XRP also looking juicy, not up too much. Right now sitting at roughly $2.20, up 1.5%. BNB back to $900. Solana at 142. And Solana actually being one of the best coins to rise from its lows, but XRP, of course, is completely beating it, being one of the best performers in the top. At least in the top 10, is the actual best performer throughout the week. So a lot of people like to hate on XRP, but it's done some pretty good numbers right here. All right, let's quickly see what else we got. All right. So let me quickly press this. And there we go. Yeah, I'm going to also quickly say, if you're not done it yet, there's always going to be a link down below to Blowfoot. It's the crypto exchange I'm trading on for the most part. And there's a pretty interesting thing going on right now where you get a nice airdropped position, right? Just basically what I call a $300 free trade. Link is down below for that. You can check it out if you want to. It's the first link in the description below. And yeah, today is a very, very interesting day. We're going to talk about everything. But I'm going to let my analyst hop on here. Let me quickly see if he's available. I think he should be okay. Muting your mic just in case you're not. Hop you on the stage. If you're ready, you can unmute your mic, but I told him a little bit later, so we're going to see. Once he's escaped from his little sleep over in Austria, I think he will unmute his mic and come back on, and then we'll start talking about this together.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Ah, there we go. There we
You
go.
have to put the audio off your tab, I think.
Let me get that done. Let me get that sorted. Stop screen. There we go. Share screen. Now this should be working pretty comfortably.
Hello, test. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
All right. So, yeah, what do you think of today?
Today, well, a quiet day as expected, honestly. And first and foremost, for those celebrating, happy Thanksgiving, of course. Second of all, yeah, it's a pretty sideways type of day, I would call it. I would classify it, to be honest, because there's not really any action going there, just a stagnation, honestly. And usually speaking, when we have these sideways type of days, that means that price is usually charging up for another move, which is obviously going to be either bearish or bullish. But most of the time, after going sideways, yeah, it's going to be a more impulsive type of move, not this gradual movement towards a certain direction. It's going to be more aggressive usually.
So, and having said that, I've been looking at S&P and everything, but today nothing's going to happen, of course, because we got Thanksgiving, and tomorrow, obviously, also a lesser day. I'm not exactly sure why that Friday, the one after Black Friday, after Thanksgiving, why that's supposed to be a short day. I don't know what the thought process behind that is. I could even make a better argument as to why the Wednesday should be the lesser of the days. And somebody here in the chat is asking, who the fuck is that guy? He, ladies and gentlemen, is the one who's going to give his analysis in just a second about the crypto market, or potentially about stocks if you guys are really interested in it. He's one of the best to ever do it. He's always sharing the charts over on my Twitter. And so, you know, I can talk about a lot, but I'm more of a fundamental type of guy. I look at the news and I see, hey, this makes a lot of sense. Here's what's going on. But to have somebody who, you know, it's a little bit more nerdy, who looks at charts all day, give you some thoughts about the charts is sometimes perhaps a little bit nicer.
Who are you calling a nerd?
So that's the story there. And today, like I said, it's actually one of those days where we're preparing ourselves for potentially something really quite huge. And why am I saying that? Because we're at 91 or 90. Whoa, we just dropped $700 in like a minute. Or no, we didn't. Okay, it's actually a few minutes. Wait, what? I thought we were just at. Let me refresh this real quick. I thought we were at 90.7 or something like that. Let me quickly see. Oh yeah, here we go. We're at 90.9, so that was like a little bit old. We earlier today went to, actually, matter of fact, just below 92,000. So the range that I described yesterday in the video, I basically talked about some specific option strategies people are going for, and basically the most interesting levels when it comes to options, and the carry trade that people are going for right now, with the implied volatility being a significant amount above realized volatility. Besides that point, right, we talked about the fact that $81,000 to $89,000 was the most interesting of ranges, and we broke out of it yesterday already. And again, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, there was a Glassnode analysis that referred to that range as the most crucial one to break out of before we can flip bullish again. Right now, we have flipped out of it back to about 92, and we also had ourselves a positive close above $90,000. Things look pretty good. However, again, perhaps Mr. Arnold will have some different thoughts on that. Let me quickly head over to you, brother, because you've got some analysis to share, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
So
you've got the stage.
Thank you very much indeed. So in the previous stream we did, where I did the analysis, we're going to Bitcoin right now. We had two scenarios. So we'll start with scenario number 1, actually. So let me just edit it on the chart live for you guys, all authentic. So basically the thought process behind this was that we had the peak, we had the fake out here, and this was all part of the correction. And now the correction, again, to just give a quick summary for you guys, I'm using 𝗬𝗓𝗪 strategy here most of the time in combination with some other technical tools, basically. So in a nutshell, 𝗬𝗓𝗪 cycles, you have 5 cycles, 1, 2, and 3 impulsive, and 1 and 2 corrective. So 2 and 4 are corrective. Always the even numbers, and the uneven numbers are the the impulsive waves. So where are we right now? According to my chart, we have finished the last cycle here around August, and now we're heading into the correction. So the price action that we have been experienced for the last couple of months. So how does a correction usually look like? Well, we have an A, B, and C. And then inside this A, B, C, if you zoom in on the lower time frames, then you also have some waves. So according to my chart, we have finished A, B, and C is almost coming to an end. And there's two, well, rather subjective ways how to see C ending. So in scenario one, excuse me, we have actually a shortened wave 3. Textbook-wise, wave 3 is always 1.61 Fibonacci of wave 1, of the length of wave 1. So if we take the length of wave 1 and then put it on number 2 to calculate where wave 3 would be ending, well, if we have to believe the textbook example, then wave 3 should be happening actually right here. But I will get into that just a little bit later. So scenario 1, which is still fairly possible, means that a wave 3 is going to end a little bit early. Wave 4 is also looking a little more complicated because of the volatility here. And according to this scenario, we would say, okay, the sequence has already finished, you know, the 5-wave sequence. And that means that this is the lowest place we have before finishing the entire correction and then going up bullish. Now, bullish in that regard. Now, we have scenario number 2, which we have also discussed from last time, is the textbook example I just give. That we say that wave 3 finished here, wave 4 is actually about to finish, and then wave 5 is actually another leg downwards. Of course, everybody wants to see the bulls in action, but we have to stay realistic here. That is also fairly possible. And I had a question the other day. When do you determine whether it's scenario 1 and 2? Well, to me, it's a crucial right now because we are approaching the 50 EMA, which is this blue line you can see over here. And what I would like to see to say, okay, well, it's not going to be scenario number 2, is if we have like a clear impulse pushing through, pulling back. So let me just draw it for you guys. So let's say we push through, we pull back to the EMA, and the EMA is gonna, well, basically be our support, and then we're gonna continue, and then we make that new high over there. To me, that would sign, okay, the bulls are really in power. We have broken through that first 50 EMA. So our next, well, basic target would be then the 200 EMA, which is the green line. So
let me stop you there for just 1 second. By the way, everybody, if you're watching this right now, I wonder how many of you guys are actually trading crypto at all? And second of all, if you've not done it yet, we've got about 120 people watching, right? This, I always say, is the freaking core of people. If you're watching this on Thanksgiving Day, it either means you're not American, I guess, possibility there, or solidarity, true supporter. If you've not pressed that like button yet, right now is your #1 best time to do so. And I always, at the start of the stream, but I forgot this time, ask, where is everybody watching from? Because it's kind of funny to me how we always have all these different countries around the world showing up. Sometimes, even countries I kind of, like almost I've never heard of, really. Just stopping by and saying hi. It's always fun to me. But I just want to quickly ask, if you're watching from a crazy place, like your basement or your mom's basement or something like that, let me know in the chat box real quick. Because you see, here we go. So, for example, we got Croatia.
Croatia,
lovely country,
Texas,
by the way.
London.
Beautiful. We got London, Texas, Netherlands. Robbie. We got Morocco. Peps, you're watching from London. I didn't even know that. We got Finland, Sweden. Oh, from Svenska. I remember 2 stycken.
Sweden and in at work. Push the like. Now it's real dedication.
I also remember another sentence like Jävla invandrare. Let's see. South Africa from a couch, right? Now we got Pura Vida. Is that Costa Rica then? Wales, Earth, Malaysia. I did try trading, lost $200 today. I'm going to stop. France. There we go. Your country's holding you back right there, my brother. All right, Houston, Texas, in an organic greenhouse. I'm a farmer. How weird is that? That's pretty
nice. In an organic greenhouse, I'm a farmer. Well, that is That is quite interesting, actually.
That's pretty nice. Detroit, Toronto, Canada, Montreal, Canada. Okay, so Canada seems to be the day, huh? Like we got like one American showing up here. Maybe I'm gonna say about Detroit. We got two.
No,
so really,
we got several from Texas already.
We got Washington D.C.
Here we go.
I only saw one Texas.
I saw two.
You're right. Houston, Texas. There we go. You were correct. You were correct, my friend. Dallas, Texas as well.
There we go.
All right, we got some turnout. So the reason I'm asking is always because I try to also find the best time to stream.
Liverpool.
And I'm always like, trying to find the middle. Like, where are most people watching from? Because some of y'all, you have some, I don't know how you do it, but the fact you're watching these things at like 5 a.m. and 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. is always kind of crazy to me. So just want to quickly say I appreciate y'all, all right? Always for stopping by and saying hi. And, of course, for every single one of you pressing that like button because, well, 125 people watching, 31 likes pressed. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but
ooh, we have a bedroom.
I realize
now
I've not been sharing my screen the whole time, and I don't even know how to share my screen the right way. So I was going over all the comments, but you guys couldn't see it. It was
a comment from Q4K. Bedroom of my parents' home. Lost the end of my finger in a workplace accident last week, so I'm off work for a while. Oh, damn, man. Damn.
I mean, I didn't have to hear all that. You're just trauma dumping on me. I mean, now you're making my day sad, brother. But anyway, regardless.
No, that's tough.
Sorry, brother. If you're watching this right now, make sure you go ahead and press that like button. We could instantly be at least 75. If you're watching this right now, we should instantly go up to like probably 70 because of logic, right? 130 warriors watching this, out of which at least 110 have not pressed that like button yet. If you've not done it yet, make sure you press that like button. That would be greatly appreciated. And sorry for the caps. All good, my brother. Yeah, look at this. We got some good turnout today. Happy to see y'all stopping by and saying hi. Always happy to see it. Can you talk about XRP chat later, guys? We can talk about XRP for sure, my good brother. We shall do that. Don't not worry. Anyway, my brother. Oh, wait. Just 1 second. I think we are breaking out actually, as it currently stands. I mean, my charts are of course going to be significantly different to yours, but I'm just looking at the price right here. I'm looking at the fact that we are having a nice little breakout here of recent. I guess perhaps not fully. We're moving though because we're at $90.9 thousand. Anyway, my brother, continue on with your thoughts.
All right. So what I was looking for to come back, just a quick summary. So scenario 1, 2, we're talking about scenario number 2 right now. And the question was, that was asked to me, a great question, by the way, was that when can I determine whether it's going to be scenario 1 or scenario 2? So what I wanted to see, is a clear break through the 50 EMA, which is the blue line right here. Just a small indicator you can set, everybody can set. It's quite easy. And then what I want to see a clear impulsive break, pullback, and that pullback has to preferably touch the 50 EMA. And then the 50 EMA should work as a sort of support. And then I want to see that new high being made right here, just like I drew it on the chart. So that for me is like a great confirmation that, hey, the bulls are really dominant right now, and that it's more likely, if this happens, that we're gonna have scenario number 1, which was the scenario that we have already finished, wave 3, and that wave 5 is actually here at the bottom, and all of this is already a bullish move going upwards. So that is basically how we are seeing Bitcoin as of now. So the chart that most of you have been waiting for, XRP. And I first wanted to zoom out again. Why? Because for the ones who haven't showed up before, just look at the price action to zoom out. Maybe some of you are all watching the 5 minutes and it's dramatic, and we're going up and we're going down. But if you zoom out and you see what is happening, I've spoken about this the other time as well. Just see what happened, during the summer, during July, June. We had this huge bullish movement, almost vertical. And what is happening right now is simply the pullback. Yes, we have gone quite deeper than expected, but we have broken the high over here, which is usually always a catalyst for a pullback. And that is what's going on right now. And we're not seeing just a huge vertical bearish movement downward. No, it's going very gradual in a channel-like movement. And that is a very positive thing. So to me, this is all a very complicated correction that is happening. And that is exactly how I'm interpreting it. And so far, so good, I would say. Of course, the liquidation event was tragic, but most of us survived. Hopefully, of course. Anyway, so to me, this is already the start of wave 1. And then again, this sideways movement. Most of the time when you have this sideways gradual channel, that means price is still charging up for a massive move. And that is what was happening right here as well. So the way I am seeing things right here is very positive because we've broken out of the channel just briefly and then we went back up again. So it was a clear fake out, showing us, the market showing us traders, that it was merely a fake out and that bulls are still at large at this point. And last time as well, I think I drew it on the 1 hour because the way I see this as one wave, again, I'm using Elliott wave. Wave 1, correction, impulse, wave 3, correction, impulse. And then I think this is still the drawing, what I did before. And then we have the A, B, C. And then normally the minimum Fibonacci that we have to reach before finishing the correction is the 0.382. So we haven't reached that, but my expectation is that we will still get there. Because the way I'm seeing it's almost, well, exactly as I drew, not exactly, but the ABC is still original, and I expect price to now go lower here to finish that correction before continuing upwards. And again, I expect price to go as low as the 0.382, so the orange level, which is most of the time, when we're looking at the textbook rules of the Elliott wave strategy, is that it's usually the minimum. Of course, the minimum can also be 0.236, but if we continue upwards from there, it means that we're very, very bullish. And that means we have to get a real surge sooner than later. So that is XRP, still expecting bullish movement for the time being. And I still think that if we keep this up, we can still finish very strong for this year. Of course, we expected more a couple months before, but I think that with the current momentum, and if we confidently, let me just remove the Fibonacci, if we can confidently also push through this 50 EMA, because that is exactly why we're going a bit sideways right now, because it's basically a resistance path to continue further upwards. If we can really have a big bar upwards, that would be really bullish. That would be very, very bullish. And, you know, I don't want to say it too loud, but this is still what I'm expecting. After, of course, making the break towards this level over here, so 2.089, something like this. But after we have gone here, I still expect that bullish momentum to surge. So that is XRP. I haven't read the comments. Let me just read them now.
It's nothing too crazy. Somebody's asking about ETH. Somebody's asking for some coins like always. And somebody's asking, I think this is the most interesting one. Could we have a blow-off top in December and early January, then bear? For me personally, that's like a very unlikely scenario. But there are some ways in which it could make sense. For example, if you get a completely crazy December, I mean, obviously, does it, well, at least my thoughts, does it matter whatever happens if the times are crazy first? Like, to me, it doesn't really matter when the bear market starts, as long as we've gotten the market to go crazy before that. Because I always say, this whole idea of bull and bear, there's usually some event that makes the market crash like crazy. And thus far, very often it has been, and this is again just my honest thoughts, right? Very often it has been because the markets just went way too crazy. I'm talking about everybody making money left, right because of garbage, like poo, babalabalupu. You can't even fathom how stupid things usually get. That's that point where I think, yeah, we might have topped out. Here, it was the 10th of the 10th, a mass liquidation event that, to me, still feels like a whole manipulated effort. And then it's been a couple of days of kind of like nothing happened, and then a month of just decline and bad. But mostly also led by stocks. And again, very thin liquidity, so perhaps more manipulated effort. And all of a sudden, we dubbed that the bear market. And sure, there's a lot of these things which are overlapping with the previous cycle. Right now, a lot of analysts, a lot of people are posting that, oh, these things are all so similar to the previous time. And sure, we're going to go to zero because 𝗖𝗂𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗧. But remember that every single time previously that we really saw extended periods of downside, or really the end of the market, it was also kind of mixed with the market just being kind of dummy good. And what do I consider dummy good? Well, if we just, for example, take a look at another fun thing, right? Here we go. Here's, for example, one piece of analysis posted. For now, it seems the 4-year cycle theory is repeating for Bitcoin, and that basically showcases like, oh, this is the time, logically, where we go down. Well, timing-wise, about time in the markets, it does feel like this should be the area where we go down, because we said before, if we go up 3 years down one, and it starts November 2022, this should be the time where we go down. But, and you know we all like buts here, you know, a counter to that would be that there's such a crazy surge of institutional adoption. The freaking president of the United States decided to all of a sudden join the game. The whole landscape from every angle is changing. Plus, we all of a sudden had an interesting little debacle on the 10th of the 10th, a little bit before we expected to come down. Let me add to that. What if this time around, we're just going to adapt more and more to the S&P and more to a, you know, let's say real bear market every, let's call it 10 years or so, instead of every 3? It's very possible that what we consider right now to be, you know, a bearish move down at the start of the bear market was actually that bear market, because, I mean, we dropped 40% on many of the coins. What if this is the worst that it's going to be for the next few years until we get another 70% crash after potentially a few 100% gains first? Very much possible. No guarantees made, but very, very much possible in my own book, in my own opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's just something to keep in the back of your head. Somebody's asking about ETH, though. Do you have some thoughts on Ethereum right there, my boy?
Of course, we can get into ETH.
And in the meantime, while he's looking up, Dusty, 𝗂𝗂𝗀 theory suggests that the market cycle will conclude Q1 or Q2 of 2026. What is your take on the matter? Yeah, for the most part, I agree, if you're asking me person to person. However, there's 1,001 different reasons as to why it doesn't necessarily have to end then. It's just a matter of, well, when do things get dummy stupid? If they didn't happen just now, there's a very good chance it's just been, you know, delayed for a bit. However, there's also a very good chance that this time around the come down won't actually be as hard, because we've already seen it most likely, and then you know, less of a quote-unquote bear market. Anyway, go on, sir. This is ETH, right?
So ETH, yeah. So just zoom out for a little bit. The reason why I think ETH looks, again, subjectively cleaner from a technical analysis perspective.
Then what?
Cleaner than, for example, other pairs, because ETH never made that, well, depending on what source you have, but we never made that crazy all-time high. You know, we just, agreed. According to Binance, it was merely a couple pips, right? But that doesn't matter, because the same story is for ETH. We had this huge impulse. We reached the upper layer of the all-time high resistance zone, and that's exactly where we are, well, basically correcting from. And I remember that, well, Dusty and I were probably one of the only ones out there when everybody's saying we're going to 10K, we're going as high as people can imagine. Well, that we said, well, you know, we're here. We never made a correction. We're in a very strong resistance zone. We should pull back. Honestly speaking, we never expected to pull back so deep, but still, you have to look at things from a certain perspective. So
funny you mentioned that, by the way. You know, I always, whenever I think of this pullback, it does make me think back of Eric Trump, who said, "Oh, you should buy ETH now." I think it was like 3,400.
That was a classic moment.
And then right after it goes to like $1,400. That is the most. That should be like put into the history books, something like that.
Yeah. I believe we have a massive issue with a blow of top and bearded issue. Okay, I'm just gonna address that comment a little bit later there. So if we just look at it, that it's completely normal, and you need to understand that the market is still in cycles. You can't just keep going up. It doesn't work. You have to have a sizable correction after a sizable impulse. And of course, everybody loves the impulses because most of us are bullish, but for obvious reasons, when we have also sizable pullback, which is still a little bit more than 50% of the impulse, then most of the people start to panic, which is obvious because, well, that's how psychology works in trading. But if you look at this, we went up like 255%, right? That's huge. That's huge. And we're also going to have a correction. People are going to take profits. And for all kinds of different reasons, price is simply going to go down again. But as long as we follow the trend, the main crypto trend, and we believe that crypto is here to stay, which we obviously do for numerous reasons, then this is not a bear market, a bear cycle. It's simply a correction. It's simply a correction, and it's still within the same year. And this is what I've been addressing also, that, you know, a real bear market is like a 2+ year downward movement, right? This is like half a year or something, not even that.
Did you just say 2+ years?
Yeah. That
Because
for
I would
me,
argue that
classifies
perhaps
like
for
a-
stocks or for things that's the case, but the crypto market's always gone for a 3-year up, 1-year down thing with 1-year max
Well,
up down, really, right?
if we look at, for example,
I mean, just the way,
XRP,
just skip
right?
here. Look at the chart you're on right now. If you
Yeah.
look at the top of that, the beginning of the gray bar to the bottom, how long was that? Yeah, to like that area. Yeah,
Like one year, something like that.
I think so. I think every single time it's been roughly 1 year.
But it depends, of course, not with each. But if we take XRP, for example, I mean,
Also,
you have to
I
go to
mean,
2 weeks.
XRP, for example. But I think the same thoughts might not work fully on like an altcoin rather than Bitcoin.
Of
But
course,
anyways,
of course. But
XRP,
you
I
get
guess
the
the
idea.
low was probably March 2020, and the high probably January 4th, I think 2018. So that was indeed like 2 years. However, that actually refused to make an all-time high the year after that as well. In that 2021 run, it was only $2. So I'm going to say this one completely falls out of the box. But BTC and ETH kind of follow a similar pattern of 1 year down.
True. That's true. But still, there is absolutely no reason for panic whatsoever. And what's actually quite juicy is because we have reached the 0.618 Fibonacci level, which is always a very strong support that we can expect a sizable reaction of.
You know what I just realized? I'm so sorry to interrupt you, my boy. I never knew this. Did you know that the longest bear market for the S&P has been 61 months?
That's crazy.
Oh my days. This is also 1.3 years, not that bad, right? Even though it went down, it's 52%. But 61 months of just terror every single day, looking at your portfolio down and down and down. I mean, I can handle like a year or two, but sheesh, 5 years, huh?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
But I mean, even this, when it went down in 2007 to 2009, how long did it take to recover again from the minus 52%? I don't even remember. But I think it was also a long time
something
before.
like 2 to 3 years or something.
That's doable. I guess that's not too bad.
But still, it's crazy to think. But
It
yeah,
is.
2008 was a crazy time.
By the way, Bitcoin right now at 91.1 or 91.2. Yeah, so we had a small little breakout just now as well. Back to we just pumped to 91.3, which is yeah, to me at least these are numbers we're pushing here. A lot of the analysts I had discussion with, they're saying 93 is going to be the level where we come back down, where people are going to start opening massive shorts again. Interesting, I guess, to say the least.
Wow. Well, so to continue here. So again, this level is a very powerful level because this is also a level where we went sideways, and then initiated this next bullish run over here on ETH. So, and then at the same time, we are in the 0.618 Fibonacci level, which is also another confluence why this level is very powerful. Of course, we cannot say that this is the bottom for sure, but it's a very, very high chance. I would say, actually, I'm going to say it, that there is a bigger chance that this is the bottom than that we're going to continue even further downwards. But again, we've only scraped the zone, really. So we haven't really gone so deep into it. So that is a smaller problem. But for me, I think the minimum level that we will reach at this point would be this supply zone, or resistance zone at 33.50, something like this. I think that would be a minimum pullback, and then from there onwards we're gonna see what we're doing, because I feel like we're gonna break through the current level we are in. Let's just zoom in on the 1 hour time frame. I feel like we're gonna overcome this and push even further, and then here we're gonna decide what's gonna happen. So ETH still looking very, very good. And again, if you zoom out, there is no big reason to panic. And this is actually the original chart, how I marked everything up, how the waves look like. So for me, this is simply a correction. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can basically do it for you guys live how I see it. So just to say it again, we have the impulse, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, and then C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have A, B, C. So that is like the basic, the textbook movement, and that is exactly how I am seeing ETH as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, subwave finished, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all these subwaves, so a wave within a wave basically, and then the A, B, C. So A, B, and then presumably here, we don't know for sure yet, depends on many things. Same for Bitcoin. It's looking a bit similar like Bitcoin, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be like the textbook correction, which is still very possible because we're also at this very strong support zone plus the Fibonacci level. So that is ETH for you guys and girls. So any further questions or purse? Lol, he had, I don't know why, but you're, I don't know why, but your Russian accent, maybe. Do I have a Russian accent? I'm supposed to have an Austrian accent.
Austrian. Oh, we got Nathan Kim coming in with the. Oh, wait, is that a real thing? I think so.
Super sticker.
10 𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗃, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Much appreciated indeed, sir. Do you think there's a local bottom for ETH? Well, I think you asked that before I started ranting, Nathan, but I think it's a very high probability indeed because of the way I see market structure.
Wait, I also just saw. Wait, he says thank you. So I guess he's appreciative of all our efforts. Huh? Well, that's
you're very, very welcome, Nathan.
That's Nathan. Yeah. All right. Pretty sure you stopped by saying hi. Also, I see just now. I got this post just now popping up. The U.S. housing market is broken. On average, the price of a new single-family home has traded below the price of an existing single-family home for 12 months. The first such occurrence was in 54 years. This comes as the price of a new home fell below the price of an existing home in 2024 for the first time since 2005. By comparison, new homes were 10% more expensive just 3 years ago, measured by the 12-month moving average. The difference was as much as 40% in 2012 following the 2008 financial crisis. Something is seriously wrong with the housing market. And one interesting little nitwit that I sparked up here was actually how it's kind of funny how over the grand scheme of things, the whole, the 2020 situation where we all thought this is the worst crash we've ever seen, for a lot of people at least. It's kind of like a nothing burger in the grand scheme of things. Like here for a housing market, they don't even consider that to be like what recession or correction or something like that. Even though for us crypto traders as well, it was the carnage of carnage days or weeks really. And this does make me think, man, what is happening in the world to get to these numbers? Again, remember, the price of a new single-family home has traded below the price of an existing family home for 12 months. The first such occurrence in 54 years. What is happening so that this is happening in 54 years? 54!
I actually spoke about this a couple of days ago. It's a whole another subject. We could talk about it, but I don't know if people are really interested in this. But I can give my small take on it. Some things that people still forget, why prices are also rising and why, well, there's certain interests to
Give your
keep it
thoughts, sir.
high.
You got something?
Chat for a second. Hello, people. Norway in the house. Welcome, my guy. 152 watching and only 65 likes. Yeah, guys. So how many likes do we have right now? We have 75. Okay.
Even though we have
Guys,
150 people watching, so this should be an easy one to get
if
to at
we
least
have
100 likes, guys.
125 likes, I'm going to turn into Arnold. And I'm not going to change my voice. I'm going to stay like this. It's going to cost me a lot of breath, but a promise is a promise.
I appreciate you giving your life for the cause, brother.
Indeed, for the cause.
I appreciate that.
You guys are here to support us, so I'm here to support at least.
We also have here breaking news. After speaking with China's President Xi, President Trump called Japan's prime minister and advised her, no, I'm joking, not to provoke China over Taiwan. All right, let's not cover that one with a 30-foot pole. The S&P 500 closes the day 0.7% higher, adding $2.5 trillion of market cap since last week's low. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. That's a pretty good Thanksgiving gift. 2.5 trillion in like a week. And we think crypto is already big, huh? Keep on saying we are so early to all of this. S&P just adds a casual 2.5 trillion a week. Huh? No sweat, really, huh? And we're talking about our area being huge.
There was actually something. No, please continue.
No, see, I mean,
yeah, I just remember something else, and perhaps some of you in the chat have read it, because there was, there's a bit of a conspiracy fuel here. Not to get into it too much, but about the whole origin of Bitcoin, because the main, you have the argument that we have Nakamoto, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he's like the main guy behind it. But you remember the emails from a certain individual? I don't know if you want to get into this, Dusty.
Brother, I have absolutely no idea what area you're trying to go to right now. So I have no idea if I want to get into that. I was just comfortably talking here about my U.S. marginal debt or margin debt. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Actually, screw you. Let's talk about... Why are you trying to do that to me, brother? Why are you trying to get me banned off of this app, my boy? Anyway, so U.S. margin debt jumped... Brother, what's wrong? As a matter of fact, go in timeout, man. You don't deserve to be here no more. I'll just talk about... I'm just joking. U.S. margin debt jumped $57.2 billion in October to a record $1.2 trillion. This marks the sixth consecutive monthly increase. Margin debt for trading has risen plus $285 billion, or 32% year to date. And over the last 6 months, margin debt has surged 40%-ish, the biggest jump since 2000. This has been an even larger increase than during the 2021 meme stock mania. Leverage levels are through the roof. And it's kind of funny how crypto leverage levels are extremely down right now because everybody got wrecked last month. Yeah. And I guess in TradFi, it's up and up, huh? As a side note, I'm seeing somebody here say, 152 watching, only 65 likes. Yeah, we are at 84 likes. Everybody, if you're not yet, press that button. But more importantly, and this is actually also funny to me, it's crazy. I've seen your lives at 3 to 4K people watching, and now at 140, definitely early to this cycle. I can literally one-to-one see how the amount of people in the stream changes or is so different depending on how good the market is doing. When XRP all of a sudden was having some good days back in July, we are always here with at least 750 people or something like that, or at least 500, but mostly 750 to, let's say, 1,200 viewers all the time. Now that the market is down, panic is here, only the real ones show up. That's why I said before, today is the worst day for the stream since a long time. I've not had less than 200 viewers since I can remember, basically. But it just showcased, I think, how bad the market is doing, plus Thanksgiving, plus some reason I can't really think of, maybe. But most likely because the market is in an iffy spot. Right? If the market were pumping today, like good, proper pump, you can see how different the turnout would be. And that's, again, the funny thing. Many people like to show up when times are good, but they don't like to actually, join the roll call, basically, when times are bad. That's also why a lot of people complain afterwards why they're not making any gains, but they're not sitting here in the times that things are tough when you can actually adequately prepare yourself for those good days to come. Yeah. And actually, as a side note, I will say again, if you're looking for a platform to trade on, by the way, the first link in the description down below has a pretty cool campaign going on right now where you actually get upwards of $300 worth of a free futures position. It's just basically a free trade worth $300 with the first link down below for just how do you call it? Like verifying your phone number and your email, because otherwise it's a bit, sensitive in that sense. But pretty nice, all right? It's a pretty cool campaign. It's apparently the best one that they've got, only for new people. First link in the description down below. And soon, I think we should also be doing a nice little trading competition for our team here, because on this channel, we're thinking of doing a lot more tutorials and kind of like guides as to, what we think a proper trading strategy could be. We actually have one coming up really, really shortly here. Just more of a trading insight. Because at the end of the day, even in markets like this, it's definitely not impossible to make, or at least let's call it have an edge, or at least to find a strategy that can work to still stay consistent and make some profits, even when the market is not fully green. And again, this shifts, in my opinion. Market, if it all of a sudden turns into crazy goodness again, which could happen really shortly, I don't think necessarily that all these strategies are as important, but especially in times where you're not sure of what's about to happen next, I think it's crucially important to have a system that can basically, like we always say, always work, or at least almost always have or give you an edge. Almost always have at least something that you can fall back on when, again, the times are not as good to buy a random altcoin and make it 10x overnight. So again, we have devised a couple of proper trading strategies that I think are quite easy for some to follow, or that don't require as much thinking. And again, some cool videos will be showing up here very, very shortly, talking more in depth, also with, of course, Mr. Arnold here, talking about some of the proper strategy we've got. He's joking right now, but at the end of the day, he's actually a really, really proper analyst, a proper trader. And so we're going to be covering a little bit more on that field very, very shortly. I think will be very exciting. And again, for all of you guys here today, I want to quickly once more say, hey, appreciate y'all for stopping by, all right? Diddick says here, Dusty's live stream are like a marriage, only showing up in good times.
See?
That's how, I was going to like that, but brother, that sounds kind of sad. I'm not going to... Wait a minute.
Or what can I say? Most marriages are quite sad, If you look at the statistics.
Okay. Fair point. I guess that's why people are showing up here, huh?
My marriage also didn't end up very well when I was the governor of California.
I have no idea about his marriage at all, or anything like that.
You don't know about my marriage?
Brother, no.
Let's say I did an oopsie. It was a very
I see.
oopsie. Very
I'm not too aware with Mr. Arnold's situation. No, I'm not
what can I say? It was an impulsive move, just like the market. Sometimes you have an impulse, and sometimes, at the moment when it was happening, it was very bullish, but afterwards it was very bearish.
I say those words too often as well, I realize. The word bullish in normal conversation.
Yeah, if you're a real crypto bro,
if you use the word bullish in real life,
say, wow, you got your university degree. That's so bullish.
That's exactly what I would say. Jamie says, I'm hearing bad times in New Zealand at 5:30.
5:30. Whoa.
Brother.
Dedication once again. Salute it.
Goat of the day, Mr. Jamie, showing up at 5:30 a.m. I'm not sure what you guys do. How? What goes? Did you just wake up? Are you still going to sleep? Like what? 5:30. You know what? I will not even question you. You win my my Goat of the Day award. And I should quickly cover this as well, because I just see it popped up 2 minutes ago, so it's fresh out the freaking oven. Num is trying to get some credits for watching at 2:30 a.m., but you're not as cool as Mr. Jamie right there.
Ooh, but 2:30 a.m. in Australia,
I cannot compare 2:30 to 5:30, depending on whether or not they slept yet. But 5:30, you got to think about it.
I assume
Let's say you got to get to work at 7 and you're waking up 5:30. And you're watching a stream. That's like, what in the world? Or the other way around, you're still awake at 5:30, which is possible. Maybe you're having a good time. You pulling up a crypto stream in those demon hours? Like, what? At 2:30, to me, that's a casual time. I'm still behind the desk here, still doing my thing. For me, 2:30 ain't the biggest of deals. 5:30, in any scenario, that is diabolical. Unless night shift.
I'm tired of waking up at 5:30 farmer's schedule. I'm ready to retire, guys. Well, it depends on how old you are, but waking up 5:30 every day, that's a mental assault, basically.
To a person like me, that's easy, of course. Retired farmer.
You're a night hawk,
You're a better man than I would ever be, man. Waking up every day at 5:30. I don't know how you do it. Those cows would have not lasted a long time. Yeah. I mean, the cows probably would have.
I'm curious, guys. What are your professions? Just throw it in the chat. I'm really curious.
I don't know if you should be sharing that on the internet too much. Like,
Well,
hey guys,
you
how
know,
much money do you got in your bank account?
No, absolutely not the same. It's not a forceful question. It's
You
a
know,
question
maybe
gambler.
I'm not advocating for you sharing whatever you do on the internet with random peoples, all right? But you can. It is nice sometimes. But, and also, as a side note, we didn't cover that today. You know, we also have a Discord. Like, there's two things that always link down below. One is Discord, and it's basically a place where hopefully soon as well, we're going to get a lot more activity in. It's just cool if you guys have not joined it yet. Somebody just said, howdy. Man, you are, I don't know if he's watching the stream, but he just said howdy exactly right now. That's kind of funny. So maybe he's watching and he's also in Discord at the same time. Pretty cool. Thraxy's writing again.
So we got some interesting professions already. A gambler. Okay.
Brother, don't say that word. Okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Rambler. Rambler.
Did you say it again?
A rambler.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And we have a pastor. A pastor, really? That would be amazing. Yeah, we could have the blessings from you, Mr. Daniel.
Lavender farmer.
Senior software developer.
Oh, that's nice.
Senior software. Okay, that's very nice indeed.
Pensioner.
Age
Turned
pensioner.
40 in June. Dude, I'm just glad that I wake up.
producer.
Brother, you're 40 years old saying, I'm just glad I woke up. PY profession at the moment. I'm not sure. But sun awnings, zip screens, all that juicy stuff. You can quit when XRP takes off. Fair enough. Fair enough. Somebody says, what is the news of today? Well, at least part of it was this. Retail investors are rewriting the market playbook. Individual investors are now on track for the 23rd consecutive monthly net purchase of stocks. That is only behind the 32-month streak posted between April 2020 and November 2022, which was peak bear market, by the way. You know, this is when the bear market ended for cryptos. Furthermore, retail has been a net buyer of ETFs for 158 consecutive trading days. Retail investors have net sold ETFs in just 6 days since the beginning of 2024, all while individual investors have purchased more call than put options on net for 29 consecutive weeks, the longest streak on record. Individual investors are redefining the markets. Well, individual investors are mostly stupid, but I mean, at least they are taking the forefront right now, getting into this market. So that's pretty nice, I guess. And look at those jobs. So let's see here. Today's been a slower day for the market. Yeah, it has been. Seeing real quick on my feed if there's anything new, really newsworthy that just popped up. I guess one of the most interesting pieces here is the price on Thanksgiving. In 2010, a Bitcoin was only 28 cents. In 2011, it was $2.49. In 2012, well, you can read it here. I don't have to read every single year out for you. But it's kind of funny how at some point, 2024, it was actually 95,000. It feels to me like in 2024, we were still in the freaking depths, but I guess 2024, we were also seeing these good times. And back then, when we had 95, it was so good. Right now, 95 felt so bad. That's kind of funny how the markets go, huh? We are, however, still moving upwards, I see right now as well, as Bitcoin right now at 91.5. 91.5 thousand dollars, my brother. So at what point, by the way, in terms of price, will your thesis be confirmed or broken? Is there any point of price that you're watching out for most carefully here? My good Mr.
When it comes to, I think my thing just disappeared.
All good. But do you remember your thoughts? Which is the key level at the upside? Because I just said from the Glassnode's analysis, it was 89,000. Or from the options perspective, it was the break between 84 for the downside and 100,000 for the upside. For my personal thoughts, I think we've already done some crucial work here because, well, let me quickly find that chart again. Because this is XRP, by the way. XP is looking juicy, in my opinion. You don't like these charts, I know. But Bitcoin, basically, ever since not dipping below, it kind of sounds strange, but $77,000, ever since we bounced off the 100 MA, ever since we actually, quote unquote, bounced off of this 50% extension, and I consider us to be back in neutral, I basically have said, well, since we didn't really make that bottom, the structure has not been invalidated. I just remain bullish. Like, nothing really much has changed for me. And so every single dollar we gain right here is nice, but there's not really any specific level to watch or at least any specific level I'm watching too much, except for maybe the December lows that we saw. That's like right now, the $92,000, $93,000 area that I could consider to be one of the most major resistances thus far. And again, perhaps 100,000 after that, but in the middle, there's not really that much I am watching for personally. But I thought maybe you have some differing thoughts on that matter. There's a specific level you're watching where either the theory gets invalidated or we should be watching as a major resistance here or something like that?
Well, and then we're talking about specifically Bitcoin, right?
Specifically Bitcoin, yeah.
Yeah. So to me, again, I'm just going to stick to the scenarios.
Also, none of the stuff we're talking about here is financial advice. Writing beats says it here carefully. I mean, I think, to be honest, a lot of channels are going down just for error purposes. At the end of the day, there's always a disclaimer, and it's not financial advice. I mean, it's kind of logical. But I will, of course, try to even say it at the start of every single stream. You're very much right. Appreciate you remembering or reminding me here. At the start of the stream, Arnold, make sure you remember, you should always say, this is not financial advice. Nothing we say here is financial advice. It's all just for entertainment purposes. But sometimes to say, maybe saying that word makes the algorithm trigger and think, you know, you're saying that, and it's not catching up on the not part. Because that's what some people were theorizing on Twitter before. Yeah, so what do you got here? This is Bitcoin?
Yeah, so for me, it's like we're nearing the crucial part. And that is, again, level anything close to the 50 EMA. Because if we break above this confidently, again, I don't want to see this type of price action that you go up, down, oh, up, down, oh, up, down, and then down. And then that's nothing confident. Then we're still going sideways, just charging up for a major move now. What I want to see, if we're going to remain bullish like this, and we're going to have scenario 1 play out, meaning that this is indeed the bottom and this is all just already a continuous bullish action, and that we're only going upwards right now, then the first checkpoint that we got to reach, sometimes I like to name them checkpoints, is that we're going to have a clear break going up, quite impulsive price action. Then we have a gradual pullback, a very slow one, not an aggressive one where you have the impulse and then the correction, which is like as impulsive as the impulse, as the bullish upward movement. That is not what I want to see. I want to see a gradual correction, go slightly towards the 50 EMA again, and then make a new high. And that for me shows that, okay, the bulls are firmly in power. This means that I have more confluences that I can stack in my favor, because at the end of the day, you want to stack as much confluences in your own favor to be profitable, because you can never be 100% profitable. Anybody who claims he or she is a fraud. And that, at the end of the day, is that we're going to do with small technical tools, with other things that other people use that works for them and has been proven over multiple years. And that is what we're going to try and do. So for me, to sum it up, I want to see a clear break above the 50 EMA, impulse, correction, impulse, make the new high. And then for me, I would say, okay, this is enough confluences to say, okay, guys and girls, this is going to be scenario number 1. So that is that for Bitcoin. So I would say this clear break somewhere around 93, 94. Keep that around in your head for now. 93 and 94. Yeah.
All right. And I think, let's quickly see here. Yeah, we've reached around the 1 hour mark. So again, roll call. Everybody, if you've not pressed that like button yet, we've had about 1,000 people stop on by. And sometimes when I think about that number, some people can talk about it saying, oh, but it's only 1,000 viewers. It's not that crazy, right? To me, sometimes still that is ridiculously crazy. How 1,000 people just are together with us on this freaking crypto journey. And at the end of the day, everybody's on their own pace. Everybody's on their own speed. But we're all here together still, enjoying, like maniacs, the crypto market, hopefully making a ton of profit. And if you're not, I mean, at least you got to understand that it might be part of the game, right? It might be part of the idea that everybody right now, or let me say it differently, that right now it's tough times, but tough times don't last.
The best.
Only tough people last.
Yes, indeed.
That is a freaking, but yeah, it's bad times for probably 95% of us. However, the trick there is to not get wrecked along the way. Because if I look back at the story, and I've been making these videos for almost 9 years on here, if I look back at that, if you'd, throughout this entire journey, wherever you started, if you'd just not been stupid to sell your coins at a loss, you would have always done well. If you were not stupid enough to go all in on something really, really small, you would have always done well staying at the top tier of coins and things. And here's the kicker. Right now, in times like this, when things are quote-unquote bad, especially what I've described before, this is my own thoughts, right? Different from any short-term trading strategy, but this is just my overall thoughts on market. If you're getting to buy yourself anywhere, basically, let's call it below 110, I consider that to be kind of neutral, but like kind of cheap in the grand scheme of things. And understand that right now, again, different analysis will come to different results, or conclusions. Right now, you're still getting yourself a 30% discount from the top. It's less than what we saw earlier, almost a 35% discount, but it's still a 30% discount. If you have $100,000, most people don't, but I'm just saying, I'm putting out a number there. If you have $100,000, and right there, you got to buy, let's say 0.8, let's say it differently. If you had $125,000 back then to buy an entire Bitcoin, right now you get to buy almost 1.5, or let's say 1 1/3 almost, right? Something along those lines. Or even if you had $110,000, which is basically the area where I would consider us to be, neutral at and below. Back there, you could have bought 1 Bitcoin. Right now, you can buy 1 1/3, or something along those lines. You get it. And so from almost any angle, Bitcoin, I'd say for most people, is a bit too expensive, or it's at least too high up on the ladder already. The gains you can make on the short term are not as severe. But it does set the stage for, I think personally, where all the other coins are about to go. And so by that logic, just consider that these are bad times. At least you can see it, right? Because we're 30% down. But on this come up, the amount of percentage that we can make on Bitcoin is pretty cool still. But more importantly, the amount of percent that a lot of these altcoins will probably go up throughout this time as well is just really, really crazy. And if we can also take advantage, this is again a personal thing, but for example, some juicier positions right now, again, you can get yourself a $300 free position on Blowfin. Link is down below. It's the first link down below. It's always, in my opinion, just nice, right? I mean, these are extra schmeckles you can make for almost nothing. And yeah, tomorrow, stock market opens again, but only for a very short amount of time. I'm not sure what time it closes tomorrow. I'll have to look that up. Because what is early for a market close? Let me see. Black Friday market. Do you know by chance? Close time?
I think we're opening in around 16 hours or something.
But the question is, what time? Because it closes earlier. Okay, here we go. So Thursday, markets close 1 p.m. ET. Christmas, no, that's nothing. Let's see, what is USA Today? What is that website? Normal bond market hours. Okay, let's see here. Is the stock market open today? Somebody's asking.
12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Somebody's saying
Thanksgiving
in the
Day,
chat.
Christmas Day. Friday, November 28th. It will close at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So tomorrow might be an interesting day then, because today we have no price action. I'm not so sure if anything interesting for the most part has happened in like Google News or Nvidia News during Thanksgiving here.
Not so much, to be honest.
So I'm thinking maybe tomorrow they could be an interesting day, but I mean,
For like the tech stocks, well, there's a real competition fierce when it comes to AI chips from Google.
but that is actually not necessarily bad for NASDAQ. It's just bad for perhaps Nvidia.
Individual stock, yeah, like Nvidia or AMD, for sure. For NASDAQ, it won't really matter that much. But
Micro analyst, who's this guy? Michael Kramer. Market faces rising reversal risk as liquidity and gamma pressures build. Yeah, it's also funny. If you just keep clicking around, you'll always find somebody that has the exact opposite analysis of what you have. Like exact -1 on what you describe right there. It's always fun to me how whenever you're excited, there's always somebody's like, actually you're wrong, and here's why. Or if you're really, really bearish, there's always somebody's like, oh, well, actually, this is the most exciting time ever. Here's why. And what we've noticed is that usually it's the sentiments, so the thoughts, in a consensus form that catch up to data, not the other way around. I described it a few days ago. And right now, I will still say the same thing. Everybody's talking about the market going down like crazy. I will keep saying that, sure, there is some chance for us to go slightly down lower. But I do believe there's one more impulse, at least towards at least 93,000, at least, is my own personal thoughts, before we see that happening. And I think most of the analysts right here that I talk with at least agree with that even if we were to see more downside, it's upside first because we went too low too fast. And it's all happening because of the thinning liquidity that doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, I think, lads, I think we've gone over an hour now. I think tomorrow we shall be back again with another crypto stream. Today, perhaps some interesting little videos will come out. Let's see. But like I told y'all, Every single day we'll be streaming on here. And I see a question for Arnold. Where in Wall Street a cheat sheet are we? Optimism or belief?
Arnold, where in the Wall Street?
He's talking about that little market psychology chart, I think, right? Let me grab it up. Let me see.
I think you showed something. Yeah.
I think that's the one he's referring to.
In
Maybe
the Wall
it's not,
Street cheat sheet are we? Optimism or belief?
I think this is the one he's talking about. He's saying what? Optimism or belief? And optimism being where? Let's see here. Optimism being like the start of the rally, let's call it. And belief being even one step above that. So optimism saying this rally is real, and belief being time to get fully invested. Damn. Not advice. Or in brother, maybe you're too excited. Maybe you're in denial, brother.
No. Absolutely.
Maybe you're on the other side. You're too excited, man.
Well, it depends. Are you talking about crypto or are you talking about stocks and then specifically tech stocks? I think then I can really answer your question from my perspective.
Oh, this guy. He's got it completely wrong. Man, this guy's way too optimistic. Matter of fact, it's only going to get worse from here, brother. Why did you name complacency as an option?
Absolutely not. I think I'm not going to use this cheat sheet, honestly. I'm just going to phrase it in my own way. I think most of the panic that we had has ceased at this point because there was a real panic. We were dropping crazy amounts. It wasn't really a point that, there's going to be a control, there's going to be grip, there's going to be some type of pullback. And that is what we're experiencing right now, to show that, to lighten people up and say, hey, listen, we're not going to continue down like this. We're not going to have a steep decline like this. It doesn't work. Okay, so stop panicking. And I think after this rally that we have towards 93, 94, with Bitcoin, I'm taking the example, I think a lot of people are now like, yeah, this is like, we're going to continue up again. And this, so I think a lot of people panic too fast. And that's why I like to take the chart sometimes with you guys and girls and try to zoom out and make it more sensible from a more global perspective. Bubble drop in stocks. I don't think so from a personal point of view. I think tech stocks, NVIDIA, AMD, Alphabet, you name it, ASML, I think they all still have a great potential and growth perspective. I think growth is still going to steadily continue up until at least 2027 when it comes to the whole tech stock rally. So no, I don't think personally believe that we are in a bubble, because people like to compare it to other things, the .com bubble and other stuff. But perhaps we can talk about this more in detail in the next stream, because I think
all right, boys,
talked more than enough today.
Today was an interesting day, but mostly we are preparing ourselves for what's about to come next, right? Bitcoin getting above these, what we call crucial levels, making a beautiful weekly close. But now we're getting closer and closer to the next week of potentially interestingness. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and saying hi. Alcoholic Flip Mode just coming in the chat now. You're late, brother. I don't appreciate that. You usually are always one of the first ones in, but all good, all good. Tomorrow, yet again, another stream, so tune in for that, because I told you, every single day we shall be streaming unless something crazy happens, but we should be here. Make sure you press the like button if you enjoyed it. See you guys again tomorrow on another stream. And you got anything to say, Arnold?
Woman, are you going to be on every day with Dusty? Well, that's the plan.
Brother, your end line. Stop talking. Otherwise, you keep going. Just give your end line, brother. Don't respond to nobody no more.